A former Ring of Honor World Champion has made their AEW debut, and MJF has broken his silence on his controversial weekend. But first, a new summer of Punk has begun. Last night, AEW held their 4th ever Double or Nothing event from Las Vegas, Nevada, and the show would be main evented by a match for the AEW World Championship, as Hangman Page put his title on the line against the best in the world, CM Punk. Not only was Page defending his AEW title against Punk, but in his own words, he was defending All Elite Wrestling from him. In the end, however, Punk was victorious in a grueling match, with both men showing signs of wear and tear, with there being a conflicting ending for the Hangman. After 2 buckshot lariat attempts from Punk and a near fall after a GTS from Page, both men were showing signs of desperation, none more so than Hangman. Towards the end of the match, the referee would be knocked to the floor, allowing Page the opportunity to strike Punk with the AEW title belt, with him set and ready to turn to the dark side. However, Page hesitated, throwing the belt to the floor, which allowed Punk to take the advantage of the lapse in concentration before striking him with the go to sleep for the 1-2-3. The match capped off what has been a great comeback story for the straight edge superstar, who now adds his 4th major world title to his resume alongside his WWE, ECW, and Ring of Honor Gold. This also sets up an interesting story arc for Hangman, who will perhaps now see his lack of ruthlessness a weakness that he needs to fix. Either way, it was a great match with a great story threaded throughout, with CM Punk clearly the best choice to be AEW World Champion. But as always, let me know your thoughts on the match, and is CM Punk the right guy to hold the title? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, the winners of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament have been crowned. Both the women's and men's finals would take place last night at Double or Nothing, as Dr. Britt Baker DMD would take on Ruby Soho before Adam Cole battled Samoa Joe. In the end, AEW's power couple would walk away as the winners, with both Baker and Cole coming out on top in their respective matches. This would lead to an emotional ceremony presented by Owen Hart's widow, Martha, handing over the Owen Hart title belts as well as the Owen Hart Cup trophy. The finals concluded the 2-month-long tournaments, which saw 15 wrestlers in each bracket, with 2 winners now going all the way. But what did you make of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, and did the right wrestlers win? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, AEW President Tony Khan has addressed criticism of CM Punk's AEW run. Following last night's pay-per-view, the new AEW World Champion would sit down for a media scrum flanked by Tony as they addressed questions regarding both Double or Nothing and all things CM Punk. One of the topics that came up was criticism from former WCW President Eric Bischoff, who called Punk a financial flop for the company, something Khan immediately disputed. He would call the comments BS, with there being only one man that can attest to Punk's success, and he responded, "We do have over the years a good amount of financial data in pro wrestling. I can tell you no one wrestler has ever come in and made a bigger plus delta financial difference in the history of my company going into the 3rd year anniversary. No one person has ever made a more positive impact. We just did a record pay-per-view buy. Every pay-per-view, he's done a 4 pay-per-view cycle now, every one of them was the record. Whether it was All Out, where he was such a huge part of the draw with Darby, his debut was a huge thing with First Dance, the biggest Rampage draw in the history of that show. He carried the Friday Night War, which, by the way, is a matter of record in the court in the state of California, that we won the Friday Night War. Just ask Jerry McDevitt, WWE's attorney, because he wrote it. This guy, he did the Friday Night War, he did the First Dance, he's done the record Double or Nothing, he did the record All Out in his debut, he was a big part of the record Full Gear, a great match with Eddie Kingston, he's wrestled a bunch of young guys and veterans in between there, Will Hobbs, Daniel Garcia, and then he showed up and did the biggest program in terms of everything TV box office ever with MJF. It's also worth noting that Punk became Pro Wrestling Tee's bestseller just hours or days after his AEW debut, further showing the financial draw that he's been. It'll be interesting to see the trajectory that the company now takes with Punk as the centerpiece as we enter the summer of Punk. Next up, Tony Khan has addressed AEW's future with Warner Bros. Discovery. In April, Warner Media, the parent company of TBS and TNT, would merge with Discovery in a multi-million-dollar deal, with both companies becoming one. This resulted in a new management structure, leading to speculation on the future of AEW television on the company's networks. Well, last night at the Double or Nothing media scrum, Tony Khan was sure to calm any talk of the promotion being dropped, revealing that he has met with their chief brand officer, Nancy Daniels, and is excited about AEW's future, and he would reveal, "That is a really exciting time for us and a really exciting thing. I went to LA and met with the new management of the company, headed out there, and it was the most exciting and exhilarating meeting I've had in my life, and I've never felt better about the future of the company and more safe about what's happening here. I feel really good about Warner Bros. Discovery to have such strong management. Nancy Daniels, such a strong leader, she was really cool. I flew out to LA and back to meet Nancy Daniels along with her team. It was some familiar faces and also new faces. It was really exciting. It was my first time at Discovery. What a great thing we have. This is for the future of everyone who works here and the fans. It's really important." Now, Discovery sees too how important it is to wrestling fans to have wrestling on TBS and TNT because it was gone for too long and now it's back. It means a lot to a lot of people. We have such great management there and they asked such great questions. It was really encouraging. I know there are so many things we can partner on. I'm really grateful for that. It has previously been revealed that Warner Discovery will host a party for AEW's staff and talent after this Wednesday's episode of Dynamite at the Forum in Los Angeles, a further sign that they are happy with AEW's output. It has been speculated that AEW could be set to appear on the HBO Max streaming service alongside Ring of Honor content, something that seems more possible than ever post-merger. Next up, let's take a look at last night's surprise AEW debut. During Double or Nothing, Jade Cargill would successfully defend her AEW TBS championship against Anna Jay thanks to a distraction from Stokely Hathaway. Stokely is perhaps more widely known for his work in NXT as Malcolm Bivens of the Diamond Mine. However, the majority of his career has been spent on the independent circuit, working as a manager in promotions such as Ring of Honor, Evolve, and MLW. Hathaway wasn't the only surprise, however, as when Anna Jay and Chris Statlander were outnumbered by Jade Cargill and her baddies, Athena, the former Ember Moon, would show up to even the odds, confronting the TBS champion. Athena has been a free agent ever since her WWE release in November 2021, with there being speculation of her being AEW bound ever since. She no doubt adds a ton of experience and depth to the increasingly stacked women's division and looks set to challenge the TBS champion sometime soon, perhaps being the one to finally defeat Jade Cargill. But what do you make of Athena's debut in AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. And speaking of debuts, a former Ring of Honor champion has made their AEW debut. During a taped segment at Double or Nothing, Andrade El Idolo would seemingly say goodbye to the AFO, introducing a new business partner to the screen. The door would then knock before Rush made his way into the room, making his AEW debut. Rush and Andrade are real-life friends and former stablemates in CMLL, with his arrival long anticipated. During his time in Ring of Honor between the years of 2018 and 2021, Rush would become a two-time world champion before leaving the company earlier this year after his contract expired. He would recently return to in-ring action following a long-term injury, with his AEW debut being a big coup for the promotion. It's likely that Andrade and Rush's team will turn into a faction going forward, although this is just speculation at this point. However, Rush's brother, Dragon Lee, is available. But what do you make of AEW's newest signing? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, MJF has broken his silence on his controversial weekend. This weekend, AEW would hold a meet and greet ahead of Double or Nothing where fans could interact with the wrestlers, with MJF being one of the names on the schedule. However, Max no-showed the event, with AEW said to be unable to contact him. The relationship between the two parties is said to be at an all-time low, with MJF reportedly wanting more money on his contract, whilst also refusing to extend it beyond its current expiry date of January 1st, 2024, with AEW wanting to make it longer. There would later be talk that MJF had a flight booked out of Vegas before last night's show, although in the end he didn't get on board, instead choosing to wrestle his match against Wardlow on the show. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, MJF has finally broken his silence on the situation, with him telling him that he has a lot to think about, and Sean would tweet, MJF claimed to us that he showed up shortly before his match, left right after, and has a lot to think about. I haven't been able to verify this with other people at the show, or if this was planned, approved, suggested by AEW. During the post-show media scrum, Tony Khan was asked to comment on the situation, although he refused to comment, and he would simply say, "I'm not going to comment on that. I've got a lot of stuff from the pay-per-view that I can comment on, but I'm not going to comment on that." As mentioned, MJF did make it to last night's show with him losing in emphatic fashion against his former bodyguard Wardlow. He did make reference to the plane story ahead of the match, with him pretending to fly like a plane around the ring as Wardlow made his entrance. MJF is known to blur the lines between fiction and reality, similar to that of Brian Pillman, who would work both his bosses and friends to keep kayfabe alive, with it difficult to tell how much of this story is a shoot or MJF's own manipulation tactics. Either way, stay tuned to the channel as we continue to cover the ongoing MJF story. And before you go, make sure you check out the 12 most obscure WWE appearances from AEW wrestlers.